Alright everyone, very happy Saturday to you. Celtic are back tomorrow playing our first league match in nearly 3 weeks. Yes, really, doesn't time fly? We're chatting about that and a lot of other stuff today. Yeah, there really is a lot to get through, loads of different wee topics, so I'm not going to mess around, I'm just going to get on with it. The big news yesterday morning was that the draw for the UEFA Champions League knockout playoff round, again, they really need to come up with a better name for that in future. The draw was made and it's paired us with Bayern Munich. Yes, a much easier draw there. The first leg will be at Celtic Park on Wednesday, the 12th of February at 8 p.m. The return game will then be at the Allianz Arena the following Tuesday, that's the 18th of February, again at 8 p.m. So we've avoided the dreaded 5:45 p.m. kickoff that just kind of takes a lot of the blockbuster feeling away from games, I think, when you're in that early slot. So both their games are going to be 8 p.m. Great for me personally. 7 a.m. kickoff here is more doable than, 4:45 in the morning. And I think better for fans as well. We're also on a different night to Manchester City versus Real Madrid, which is good as well. So we'll get to watch that and watch Celtic on the other evenings. Bayern top of Bundesliga by 6 points at the moment. They do face their nearest challengers and the team that won the league last year, Bayer Leverkusen, away from home in between the two legs against us. So yeah, I don't know if that means their minds might be elsewhere. I don't think so, because clearly this is going to be a big game for them. If they want to win the Champions League, they'll need to get past us. But it is interesting. And yeah, I really just want to focus on this first leg. First of all, it's at Celtic Park. Let's go and see if we can go and win this game. I know that may be a big ask against one of the teams that's going to be in the running to win the whole tournament. But at Celtic Park, with our best team back and the support fully behind us, and if we play to the top of our level, like a performance that we had against Leipzig, I think, we have a fighting chance, and that's kind of all you can ask for against a team of this calibre. Like, they've not been completely impregnable. What a word that is, just out of the blue. Bayern Munich, they lost, I think, 3 games in the league phase. The most notable one was a 3-0 defeat they had away to Feyenoord recently. And I believe, I didn't see that game, but I believe that was a bit of a harsh scoreline, but they still lost 3-0 to Feyenoord. They lost away to Mainz as well, I think in mid-December. So there's maybe some frailties there. Vincent Kompany, he's done well to get that job. He's clearly a good coach, but for me, Brendan Rodgers is a more proven and better manager than him. So yeah, there's maybe some kind of positive signs you can see in that tie, but clearly against the likes of Kane and Musiala and Thomas Muller and Manuel Neuer, it's Alphonso Davies, it's going to be pretty difficult. But let's just go and win that first game at Celtic Park, and then just, you never know what can happen in Munich. That's how I'm viewing the task. But yeah, I think generally it's a tie to be relished. We've earned our shot at a team like this. I know a lot of us would maybe have preferred a more winnable tie and then look into the next round and get a team like Bayern Munich. But this is the way the cookie crumbles, and we'll give it a good shot. And yeah, just can't wait to see and hear that atmosphere at Celtic Park in 10 days or so. It's going to be a special night. Okay, we had Brendan Rodgers' press conference yesterday where he covered a range of issues and offered insight on so much. We're going to work through these various different topics. He says the team are excited about the opportunity of playing against Bayern, which is exactly what you'd expect him to say. Alistair Johnson seemed to be feeling pretty similarly as well. We then had 6 questions in a row about a statement that Celtic put out yesterday, just before the draw, I think, basically warning supporters about the risk of us not getting tickets for our away game after another flare incident at Villa Park on Wednesday night. Just read out the statement. It read, as a result of the use of pyrotechnics during our match against Borussia Dortmund last year, Celtic Football Club was sanctioned by the UEFA Control Ethics and Disciplinary Body. The decision meant that not only did the club receive a fine of €20,000, but also that if such behaviour was repeated at a match in the next 2 years, the club would be prevented from selling tickets to supporters for one away match in UEFA club competitions. Unfortunately, the club has received a further disciplinary notice from UEFA following the match against Aston Villa FC on Wednesday evening. The club will obviously make robust representations to UEFA and will make every effort to ensure that our fans can attend our next UEFA Champions League match. However, clearly there is a risk that supporters may not be able to attend. In light of this situation, it is incumbent on the club to make supporters aware of this risk when considering making arrangements for travel until further information is provided by UEFA. So I guess the club have to kind of put this across because people will be booking flights, etc. And to be fair, even if we don't get tickets, I think Celtic fans will still travel in pretty large numbers to Munich. Yeah, there's obviously only so much you can say here. The incident, there was a flare thrown onto the pitch on Wednesday night at Villa Park after we scored our first goal to make it 2-1. Celtic clearly feel there's some hope here, some scope for us not being handed this away ban, and they say they're going to make, robustly defend the club supporters. Not much more can really be said until we find out exactly what UEFA are doing here. It's worth saying that we've not been sanctioned at this point. Like, we don't know for sure. We've basically just received a disciplinary notice, so there's a bit of a difference there, and there'll be further steps taken by UEFA, but clearly there's a bit of a risk that we're not going to have fans in Munich, which I think would be massively disappointing because of one instance on Wednesday. I know Brendan Rodgers made the point that it's not just one instance, it's been repeated instances. But yeah, Wednesday night, which is the one that's kind of seemingly going to be the straw that broke the camel's back, I guess. God, I'm absolutely flying out with these today. That'd be disappointing that it was just one idiot throwing a flare onto the pitch. We'll keep an eye on that. I'm sure we'll hear pretty soon, but hopefully the news isn't bad there and we can get fans into the Allianz Arena, because it will make a bit of a difference having a Celtic support there. If we move on, transfer-wise, Brendan Rodgers, I think, effectively confirmed that Kieran Tierney wouldn't be coming in this month, and then said he would say no more on the topic because he is an Arsenal player. He says he expects Lewis Palma to leave the club this month. It will be a loan deal with an option to buy. Pretty widely reported that it's going to be Olympiacos that Palma is heading to, so that's all well and good. On making signings before Monday's transfer deadline, Rodgers says, "We're hopeful of improving the squad. I think that is key for us. Players have gone out. We want to keep the strength in the squad. We've brought in a few. We have Jota, who we're really happy with. He's had a great period here and now he's got a chance to build on that legacy. He's a little bit behind in terms of his football fitness, I would say, but he's a fantastic addition for us, so hopefully we can add a few more." So yeah, not really giving too much away there. We have 3 days remaining of the January transfer window. It's really the January/February window. It closes on Monday, the 3rd of February. And it's fair to say people getting a little bit worried, and I think rightly so, about the fact that we're going right down to the end of the window here again, and we badly need a left back, which just seems like it's the case every single window, to be honest. And I know it's maybe a difficult situation, the fact that we were clearly hoping to have Kieran Tierney in this month and that's not been possible, and it maybe leaves us scrambling around a bit, but the club need to scramble and get a left back in for the rest of the season. The striker stuff is probably more of an issue, given that we've allowed Kyogo to leave, clearly. I mean, Kyogo wanted to leave, but we've allowed that transfer to happen and are now again scrambling around in the final few days looking for someone. And let's, not beat around the bush. It's non-negotiable for me. Celtic have to sign a left back and a striker in the closing days of the window. We cannot go into the second half of the season with Greg Taylor as our only actual proper left back and Adamida as our kind of only proven actual striker. I know you can say, oh, Liam Scales can play left back and Daisen Maida can play through the middle, but that's making excuses, I think. We need to sign a striker and a left back, and we need to do it quickly. On the striker stuff, up until recently, Matthias Kvistgaarden was basically the main name we'd heard. There has been a new name reported last night by the Daily Record, and it's Slovan Bratislava forward David Strelec. Now, he's a 23-year-old Slovakian international who started at Slovan before having a spell in Italy with Spezia and Regina. He has since returned back to Slovan and really hit some form. I was looking at his numbers, so he's got 10 goals in 18 league matches this season. He's also scored 3 in UEFA Champions League qualifying and 2 in the league phase. He netted against Dinamo Zagreb, and he also scored a penalty away to Atletico Madrid. He also has 7 goals in 28 caps for Slovakia. So he knows how to score. He's pretty accomplished there. And he's heavily linked with Middlesbrough so far this month, and they are about to sell their forward Emmanuel Lath for a fee of £22.5 million to Atlanta United. And obviously they were after Kyogo at the start of January, so it's funny the way things work out. Small world, you would say. Anyway, get this and prepare yourself for some amazing banter. Some joker in the Middlesbrough support has changed Strelic's Wikipedia page to say that he plays for them. Classic one, lads. Yeah, so Strelec is the guy, perhaps. They're talking about £8 million for him. He knows how to score goals in clearly not a brilliant league, but it's not as if the Scottish League is brilliant. He scored a few goals in Europe as well and with his country. And at the age of 23, there's plenty of improvement there. So if Strelec is the guy that we want, and he played against us for Slovan Bratislava in our opening Champions League game. Can't really remember much about him that night, but I think he was probably one of the players we were kind of told to look at before that game. If he's who we want, then go and sign him so he can get someone in at the end of this window. Just another wee note from Brendan Rodgers' press conference. He was asked about giving opportunities to young players, and specifically after he brought on Daniel Cummins and Dane Murray at Villa Park on Wednesday night. And he ended up speaking really glowingly about Dane Murray. And I think these are interesting quotes to look at. So Rodgers says on Dane Murray, "He is a player I really like. I've seen him play here early on in his career. And then he had a horrendous injury that put him out for a long time. He's come back. You can see the work he's done. He's 6'4", he's big, he's got good pace, he can play. I wanted to stick him on the other night because the things I've been telling him in order to be a top player, because he's a great big guy, he's a nice big guy. You step on the pitch, you've got to be aggressive, and sometimes you don't understand that until you experience it. So to stick him on for 15 or 20 minutes to get bashed up a bit and make a mistake, that's a part of your learning. I think if he can really make that mindset step, then he could be a really good player for us. So clearly Brendan Rodgers has pretty high hopes for Dane Murray. He thinks he's got the height, which he does it at 6'4". He's quick, he's good with the ball at his feet, but it's about transitioning to men's football at that top level, whereas Brendan Rodgers says you get bashed about, it's aggressive, and that's the next step he needs to take. Maybe needs to become a man. Some people would maybe still say that about me, and I'm nearly 30, so that's a bit troubling. But yeah, I'd like to see more of Dane Murray. Brendan Rodgers is saying that. Go and back it up now, and let's start Dane Murray in a league game between now and the end of the season. More than one. I mean, the league's looking really good. Get him in there, and let's see what we've got there. Because you can talk about him really positively. Go and give him the opportunity to start a game. Right, Motherwell tomorrow. They are managerless after Stuart Kettlewell resigned from Fir Park earlier on in the week after personal abuse started affecting his family. So not a good scene there at Fir Park. Team news wise for Celtic, Cameron Carter-Vickers is back for this. James Forrest is still out. Jota is available. Daisen Maida is available. Kasper Schmeichel is fine. He missed training on Friday. Brendan Rodgers jokingly said he's a bit old, isn't he? So Schmeichel needed a wee bit longer at his age to get ready for this, but he will be fine for the game. Team-wise, I'm going for Schmeichel in goal. I'm going back four of Johnston, Carter-Vickers, Trusty and Taylor. Midfield, Callum McGregor, Luke McCowan in, Paulo Bernardo in, and yeah, front three as strong as we can go, really. Nicholas Kuhn on the right, Dyson Maida on the left, Adam Ida up top. I'm sure we'll get to see Jota. He won't start the game, but we're going to need Jota to start in the first leg against Bayern Munich, given that Dyson Maida's out of that one. And that's only 10 or so days away. I think we've got 3 games before then. So we really need to get Jota some game time and get him up to speed for that one, because we're going to need him. I guess we'll get to see Johnny Kenny off the bench as well. Yang potentially as well. Official-wise, referee, a new name I think. We've got Callum Scott, assisted by David McGeechee and Colin Drummond. VAR is John Beaton. The game is on Sky Sports on Sunday. However, it's not your usual noon kickoff. It's a 3 p.m. start. So, yeah, live on Sky as normal, but a bit later in the day. And yeah, looking forward to it. Enjoy the game if you're going. I always enjoy going to Fir Park. Great atmosphere there. And I'm sure the Celtic support will make some great noise, and hopefully we can just get back to winning ways and move closer towards the league title. As I say, enjoy the game wherever you're watching. I'll be back on Monday morning looking back on things.